Hi, my name's Peter Muller. I'm based at Clifton on the Darling Downs. This property is called Grunerfeld. I purchased it some 7 years ago. We typically run red poll breeders with blonde Aquitaine bulls. We then sell the calves at Warwick sale yards at 9 to 10 months of age as vealers. We get pretty good weights with that cross, and on this country here it's nice and soft. We can run whatever breeds we want, but we find blonde Aquitaine with red poll cows suits our business just fine. When I was young, Dad would rope cattle up to the rails in the yards and work on them like that. When I purchased this property, there was an old crush and we just thought it was great. I was at a RAF demo day in Clifton here, and Arrowquip had a display there with a crush, and it had a non-ratchet head bale. That intrigued me because I thought they needed to be a ratchet head bale, but once I worked out how it operated and how quiet it was, I was sold. That with the rubber floor meant cattle could come through in a very quiet environment. I could instantly see how this could be used in my low stress stock handling operation. I ordered a crush, panels and a bud flow from that day. My parents Keith and Kay do a lot of work here, and their safety is important to me. With the bud flow, they're able to handle the cattle without being in with them, so they can load cattle, they can draft cattle, they can do a lot of things, and they're not going to get pinned up against a rail or anything like that. And that's also important for me too. I don't want to come out with a broken arm at the end of the day. A vet has used the crush a couple of times and she commented on how good the crush is to use. I opted for a second generation head holder, and that is great for immobilising the head so you can safely tag cattle without being struck. The dual parallel squeeze is ideal for working with calves, as you can reduce the width of the crush so they don't turn around. And if the head bale is set to a similar width, they're much easier to catch. And I find that if you incorporate the bud flow with a good crush system like this, you have time savings, in which for companies is important when you've got labour, because if you're putting your cattle through faster, you don't spend as much money on labour. And not only that, if the cattle aren't in the yards for too long, they're back out in the paddock and they're back where they're meant to be. Arrowquip is an Australian company using quality Australian steel, providing jobs for Australian workers. This was a major consideration for me, and I know the workmanship of this equipment is to such a high standard it will see me out.